Hey, young people, your bridge to the future is falling down. Let's build a better bridge to our future. To fix your bridge to the future, you first need to know what is wrong with your bridge. Once you know that and have figured out how to fix it, then you need to know what tools are required. Let me illustrate that point. Assume you need to replace a light switch in your house. You don't want to try to fix your light switch with plumbing tools, such as a pipe wrench, also known as a monkey wrench. The usefulness of the monkey wrench is limited to right turn or left turn. To wire in a new light switch, I may start with an electric meter to test the voltage and polarities of the electric circuit. I need a wire cutter to cut the right length of the wire. Then I need a wire stripper to remove the insulation from the tip of the wire. I also need a long nose plier to bend the tip of the wire. After that, I need a screwdriver to fasten the wire to the switch. Our bridge to the future is a complex system, much like a smartphone. You can't fix either with a monkey wrench. To fix our bridge to the future, first we have to understand the critical parts, learn what is wrong with each, then we can search for the proper tools to fix them. Let's start with the pillars. Capitalism is an unstable part of the bridge. We have long known that the rich get richer and the poor gets poorer, but have not fully understood why. Karl Marx attempted to explain and succeeded to spark the Bolshevik Revolution that put a communist system in place. Communism had a less than brilliant idea to end capitalism. Redistribute wealth by confiscation without compensation. I was a victim of that when I was about 10 years old. The communist regime in Hungary confiscated the beautiful and fertile farm I inherited from my grandfather. After that, hunger was my daily companion. Years later, communism proceeded to collapse under the weight of its own stupidity. More recently, Thomas Piketty illustrated the flaw in capitalism in his book, Capital in the 21st Century. His formula, R is greater than G, tells us that R, return on capital, in the long run will be greater than G, economic growth. This works as the DNA that compels wealth to migrate from the 99% to the 1%, making the rich richer and the poor poorer. This results in billionaires living in hillside mansions and the homeless sleep on sidewalks. From time to time, the extreme inequality brings out the pitchforks, the guillotines, and the Bolsheviks in bloody upheavals. There is a way to fix capitalism to benefit society without harming anyone. It's not simple, but it is doable. For that, we need to reconstruct society, not from the top down, but from the bottom up. Fixing capitalism with a new mindset will be relatively easy. The only thing we need to do is transfer wealth from capitalism to the halogen commons voluntarily, without confiscation or high taxation. You will do that effortlessly when you form and live in a halogen community. You'll find the details of that in the book. The democracy pillar of our bridge to the future is crumbling in America and elsewhere, but the proper tool to repair it has not been invented yet. The great experiments of the 20th century politics tried the extreme right turn, producing fascism and World War II, and tried the extreme left turn that produced communism. Clearly, trying to fix society with the monkey wrench of politics by turning right or turning left will not work. The cover of the May 18th issue of the Economist magazine asks, "Is America dictator-proof?" My answer, it is not. Here's a brief reasoning why. The human neuroendocrine stress response is a primitive legacy from the evolutionary jungle. In the dangerous world of the critter-eat-critter jungle, our early ancestors had to make split-second reflexive decisions to fight or flee. There was no time for thinking. Our reptilian response is deeply embedded in the primitive part of our brain. Here is how it works in our time. Stress turns on aggression and turns off rational thought process. Highly stressed people are unable to tell true from false and will turn to a charismatic leader to tell them what to do. In the high socioeconomic stress of the Great Depression during the 1930s, a charismatic leader promised the angry population Deutschland über alles, Germany above all. When he couldn't deliver, the fascist leader gave the angry crowd a big fight they wanted, World War II. High and rising global socio-economic stress is driving history to repeat itself. In America, a charismatic leader is promising to make America great again. When unable to deliver on the promise, with high probability the fascist leader will give the angry population a fight they don't know they don't want, that may turn into World War III, in which the lucky ones will die instantly. Most of us will die slow, horrible death in a radiation-poisoned world. To enable society to build a better bridge to a future of social, economic, and environmental justice, quality of life, and peaceful systemic sustainability, will require complex tools that do not exist. You are invited to help form halogen communities that will be your tool for building a better bridge to a peaceful and sustainable future. Each halogen community is structured as a non-profit organization. Its directors are elected by the residents of the community. Society is reconstructed from the centralized vertical structure to the cellular and horizontal arrangement. A halogen community is a human-scale pedestrian village with a hybrid economy in which a variable mix of money and individual social service input make up the resilience that is independent of the uncertainties of the global economy. Living in a halogen village secures the essentials of quality of life. Residents of a halogen village will never go hungry or homeless, and will never be unemployed or lonely. A halogen village is like a caring family where stress-free living and your quality of life is secure. It all begins with the re-examination of life in the spirit of Socrates, because an unexamined life is not worth living. When we will re-examine life in the hyper-complexity of this 21st century with a new mindset, according to suggestions of Albert Einstein, because a problem cannot be solved with the same mindset that created it. In other words, we need to start a revolution of consciousness and follow up with reconstruction of society to leave behind our existing social structure of globally conflicted, techno-industrial, extractive, capitalist, consumerist, military-industrial complex. We need to do this in order to avoid Sir David Attenborough's prediction. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. Here is the action you need to take so that we can save civilization and the natural world from collapse and extinction. Share the QR code or the link to holygen.org with at least 2 friends. The result will be exponential, such as 2, 4, 8, 16, 36, 72, 144. You get the idea. At the 20th round, the number of people involved will be over 1 million, and at the 30th round, the number of people involved will be over 1.2 billion. Even if you lose some, the numbers will be enough to fire up some young people to organize instructive demonstrations, not protests, because building a peaceful and sustainable future is beyond the skill sets of politicians and institutions and beyond the usefulness of the political monkey wrench. Instructive demonstrations with the help of the book, Hey Young People, Your Bridge to the Future is Falling Down, will instruct people, politicians, and billionaires of what to do and how to build a better bridge to our future of social, economic, and environmental justice, quality of life, and peaceful systemic sustainability. When grants and donations arrive, holygen.org and like-minded organizations will begin to acquire real estate to form nature-compliant communities with hybrid economic arrangements and social contracts to form a new civilization with universal quality of life, global peace, and systemic sustainability at its core. The book, Hey Young People, Your Bridge to the Future is Falling Down, will work as your step-by-step action guide. Go get it from your nearby bookstore or from Amazon.com.